Hello and welcome to the Product Biz Podcast. My name is Monica Little, and we're talking about unlocking your highest potential using human design with Maureen Webb. So, if you're a small business owner, you know by now that running your own business truly is the world's greatest personal development course. You have to become the best version of you in order to face all of the challenges that running a business takes. And at the end of the day, your business is a reflection of you. One of the best ways to learn more about yourself, how you work best, how you manage situations that are thrown at you, how to determine what opportunities to go after is by learning human design. Human design is a personal development tool that I absolutely love, and it allows you to understand how to make correct decisions. It gives you a strategy to rely on in every area of your life. And in today's episode, special guest Maureen Webb talks us through how you can use human design to unlock your highest potential, both in business and in life. Before we jump in, let me tell you a little bit about Maureen. Maureen is a coach, a guide, a reader, utilizing the wisdom of astrology, human design, and the gene keys to unlock the power deep within her clients. Leaving behind a lifetime of playing small and people-pleasing, Maureen is on a mission to reach as many people as possible who are ready and willing to live an authentic and unapologetic life. She believes there is a powerful magic in all of us, and all we have to do is to be brave enough to claim it. This is such a special episode, such a fun episode. You're going to learn how to determine what your human design type is, how to work best, how to manage your business best, what to watch out for based on your human design type. And the way that Maureen explains it is just going to be so eye-opening and get you on the human design bandwagon like I am too. So I can't wait to hear what you think. And with that, let's bring on Maureen Webb. Are you ready to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to create consistent sales each and every month with your handmade small business? Join me, Monica Little, self-taught multiple six-figure small business owner and your product business coach, as I give you the insight and inspiration on how to better run your business and increase your sales in ways that you may not have even been aware of, so that your business can truly become what you knew it could be back when you first started. Learn how to let go of perfection, overcome the fear of failure that is holding you back, and finally start taking action so that you walk away feeling like you've cracked the code on how to run a successful small business. You're listening to the Product Biz Podcast. Why, hello, Maureen, and welcome to the Product Biz Podcast. I'm so excited to have you as a guest here today.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Monica. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here.
I have just been so inspired by your journey. So you were in Product Biz Academy about a year ago when you were running Wild Doe Healing Studio. And now you've kind of completely changed direction and you're focusing on astrology and human design and gene keys and all of these really amazing ways for people really to like step in their power, right? So I'm excited to chat with you about that today, but I would love for you just to give everyone listening a little bit of background on who you are, what you do, why you're passionate about these things. I know you've lived so many lives in your lifetime so far, but let us know more about you.
Well, my name is Maureen Webb. I am a current resident of Sedona, Arizona. Before that, I was a lifelong resident of Chicago, born and raised on the South Side. I was a police officer for 16 years when I decided that it was no longer in my highest good to do that anymore. I wanted to be of service in a way that was, I want to say, more loving and more relatable, especially with the past couple of years politically. I just knew that I was no longer meant to be in Chicago doing and being in law enforcement. So I made the decision. I made the decision to completely change my life and move to Sedona. And I've loved Sedona for years and years and years. This was the place that I came to when I was on vacations. And I knew the first time I came here, I knew I was going to live here one day. And I got here a little bit early. And I'm here and I am surrounded by red rock and I am surrounded just by beauty. And I can't help but be grateful for my life and for this beautiful, just natural wonder that I get to call home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. That's where I want to end up. I want to be in Sedona. I'm like, squirming my way with my husband to get him to be in line with that vision. But I love your story of what you were doing and these huge, massive risks and changes and shifts that you've taken. And I think that is just so inspiring seeing how you claim your dream and you go after it. And it's such an inspiration to people. Tell me a little bit more about what you do now, just in terms of astrology, human design, and maybe why you're passionate about those things. And then we'll dive into a little bit more about human design, what it is, so people who are listening can start to hear more about this awesome tool that's at their disposal.
So, right now, I offer human design, astrology, and gene key readings. And I have been in love with astrology since I was 13. And I'm 43. I'm going to be 44 in April. And it's just always it's been home to me. Um, it just feels right when I'm doing it. And then I learned about human design. And the first time I learned about human design, I actually put it down for 2 years because I learned that I was a generator and my strategy was wait to respond. And as an Aries, I don't want anybody to tell me to wait for anything. I'm not about that life. And I was like, no, this is stupid. I don't want anything to do with this. So I put the book down for 2 years. And then when it came back into my life and I opened that book again, everything made sense. I was like, oh my God, like I get it. I get it. And I am a firm believer in divine timing. And when I picked that book up at first, it wasn't my time. It wasn't my time to understand it and to really feel into it. Now I literally talk and work with human design every single day. And then I was introduced to the gene keys. And that is almost like the feminine version or the feminine partnership of human design. Human design is the science of differentiation. It's very mechanical. It's very this is this and this. Whereas like the gene keys is very contemplative. It's very flowy. Like here, this is what you were born with. This is what you can do. It is completely up to you. It's very contemplative. And I realized that astrology, human design, and gene keys are all connected. And I was just kind of farting around with it for myself, just to see. And then all of a sudden, it hit me when I moved here that this is what I'm here to do. There is so much power in knowing who you are. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this for people. And I found that the more I really immersed myself in these modalities, that I had this ability that I literally thought everybody did. Like, I see it from a bird's eye view. Like, that's how I kind of explain it to people. Like, I just see it and I know. And if we're talking about human design, I'm a 2-4 sacral generator. The 2 in my profile is called the natural. And basically, we're here to just do what comes naturally to us. And we have gifts that we don't even know are gifts until people call us out on it. I didn't realize that people didn't know human design or astrology the way that I did. I just assumed that everybody knew how to do this. And when I started talking to people about it and started like fun reading for them, they were like, Maureen, you can get paid to do this. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Really? And they're like, yeah, you're really good at this. I was like, but I thought everybody did this. Nope. And I have like hit the ground running, and I when I am in my zone, when I get to talk about this and I get to read for people, there is so much joy that I feel in my body. Like even now I'm talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. Like I could cry. It's just the magnificence of being able to tell people how truly powerful they are, and then like give them the receipts by showing them these charts is to me like the ultimate. To me, it's the best thing in the world. And I want to say I wish I did this earlier in my life, but again, it's divine timing. I had to go through all the things to get where I am now, and I wouldn't change any of it for the world.
Yeah, and that's such a beautiful story, and I think there's so many takeaways. Like number one, divine timing. You mentioned a couple times, right? Every single thing happens for a reason. We're either being taught lessons, or we're being prepared for what's next, or we're learning something. We have a challenge, we have a hurdle, we have a roadblock, we have something, we have a project, we have a business, whatever it may be. It's all leading us to being our best version of ourselves, right? Just to continue to grow and learn. And every single thing happens for a reason. And I believe that fully. And I love hearing how you looking back too. It's like, yeah, everything led me here. Now I'm doing what I love. I'm living in a place that I love, and I'm serving people and helping people. And that's like the dream, right? So love hearing your background on that. I do want to dive a little bit more into human design, because you mentioned astrology, you mentioned human design, you mentioned gene keys. I think most people probably know what astrology is, right? It's kind of like using your horoscope, and oh my god, I'm totally going to butcher it, but using your sign and like the constellations depending on when you were born and how they impact you. I think most people are familiar with looking up their horoscope and their zodiac sign and stuff like that. But you mentioned a couple things about human design, and I love how you mentioned you're using it for your business with your profile and how you're tying that in. But I would love to start even for you to give us an overview of what is human design. I know you mentioned it's really about knowing who you are, but give us a little bit more context on what is human design, and then we'll start from there.
Okay, so kind of in a nutshell, the way I explain human design to people is it is called the science of differentiation. It is a map of what makes you you. It is all about being an individual through the dates that are activated in your actual body graph. Whereas astrology, you have just, your sun, your moon, all just the planets. In human design, you have two sets of planets. You have your personality, which is everything, where the planets were the day you were born. And that's your conscious side. That's what you were aware of. You also have what's called your design side. And that's usually like on the left when you look at your body graph. That is where the planets were 88 moon cycles before you were born. And in human design, Ra Uruhu, who was the channeler of human design, said that this is when your soul drops in to your body. So these are the energies that you're working with unconsciously.
Ooh,
Right?
that is, I
It's
didn't know
fascinating.
that about human
Oh,
design.
yeah, it is a mixing pot of the I Ching, of astrology, of the chakra system, of the Kabbalah. I mean, it is just a beautiful, beautiful system to really learn about yourself. And it's frightening sometimes how accurate it is. Sometimes it's funny when I read for people, I tell them, like, I preface it, I'm like, listen, I'm going to tell you some things about yourself that are going to make you feel seen. And then I'm going to tell you some things that are going to make you feel like I'm calling you out. And there's no good or bad in human design. It's a this or that. And to me, it is beautiful in its design. Just like everybody is. Everybody is beautiful in their design. There is no bad design. like how people joke around in astrology about certain signs. Like, nobody's doing that in human design. Everybody has this beauty about them. So that's how I describe human design.
Yes, I think that's perfect. And I first stumbled upon human design a couple years ago. I'm into all of this, it's basically like personal development in my mind. I love learning about myself to see what can I uncover, what am I doing underneath the surface, exactly like you said, just learning about myself to be like, okay, this triggers me or I react in this way because of this, but okay, now that I know it, what can I do? How can I become better? How can I work with this? And it's not necessarily to change, right? But maybe to just be aware and to know what comes up, to know how you react to challenges and hurdles and how to really overcome them. So I came across human design a couple years ago just on like this personal development journey. I love the Enneagram. I love astrology. I love human design, like all that fun stuff. I'm like, I just want to know, right? To be the best
Mm-hmm.
version of who I am possible. I love that description of human design that you gave. And I want to mention one thing before we dive into where can people really find out what their human design is. What would you say are some main benefits of diving into human design? I know I just kind of mentioned a couple and so did you too, but anything in particular, like if you were to say you should look into your human design because of this reason, what would you be telling people?
So I feel like this is looking into human design is truly the ultimate form of self love. You know, for me, just knowing why I do what I do and seeing how these struggles that I've always struggled with are literally in my body graph. It is self love and it is understanding in a way that does not happen in astrology. It is just, if you really want to get to know yourself better and just go, like, you can dive really, really deep into human design. Like, you can just know your profile, or you can go into your gates, into your circuitry, into the color base and tone of every gate, of every keynote. I mean, it feels like it's never ending. And for me, I'm all about the rabbit hole of like self improvement. So give it to me, give it all to me. I will spend all my time. It to me, it's validating and it makes me feel seen in a way that nothing else really does.
Yeah. And I truly think getting to know yourself to that level is so beneficial, not even in your personal life. Like I use that. I think of like myself and my husband and our different profiles, and I can be better in our relationship by knowing that he's a projector. Because, for example, with him being a projector, I know that maybe he needs a little bit more downtime, and I'm totally going to butcher if this is what a projector needs, which I'm going to leave to you to explain this, but he needs a little bit more downtime. He needs a little bit more, he's a very good consultant. So I like go to him with my problems. So I just like know how to maybe interact better in my personal relationships by knowing someone's human design type. But then also when you know your own, it's like, wow, I can apply this to business. I know how to approach things or not to approach things. I know what to do or not to do. I know what to wait for or not wait for. So it's just such a great way to get to know yourself and use that in your personal relationships, in your business, and in every single part of life, which is the fun part of being a business owner, because you can dive into these things and it's helping you across the board, helping you to be a better person, a better business owner, and just helping you to know yourself exactly like you said. So one more question that I have before I want to dive into the 5 different types. I know we've mentioned generator and projector, and people might be like, what are those? So we're going to dive into what the 5 different types are. But first, if someone is listening and they're like, okay, before we dive into the different types, I want to know what type I am. Is there a quick place people can go just to type in their information to see what human design, just a general, generator, projector, what they are?
Yeah, there's a bunch of places on the interwebs. My favorite place is geneticmatrix.com. It gives you your design and it gives you your profile, and it also gives you your variables, which are the little arrows on the sides of the body graph. It gives you those as well. So to me, I love genetic matrix. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Beautiful. Okay. So anyone who's listening, pause the episode, go to geneticmatrix.com, type in your information. I think it depends on like your coordinates, where you were born, your date of birth, that fun stuff, since, astrology and everything is incorporated in it. So where you were born matters, and the exact time you were born matters. But once you put in those couple of pieces of information, you get your result. And then come back and press play, because Maureen is going to dive into what the different 5 types are, and maybe just a brief overview. I know, like you said, you can go in a rabbit hole with all of these because there's so much great information, but maybe just give us the 5 types and a general overview, and maybe a pro and con on a couple of them too.
Ooh. I don't know if I want to give a con.
Okay. I know you said there's no cons, and here I come with a con. Okay, fine. Let's just give us a general overview, and then we'll see where it takes us.
All right. So I will start out with generators. We are the most prevalent profile on Earth. We have what makes us generators are our access to sacral energy. So in human design, we have 9 centers. A generator will have their sacral, which is the second, it's the second square above, like the second one. We have that defined, which means that we have access to life force energy constantly. A lot of times people will say that generators are like energizer bunnies. We can keep going and going and going. That's true, and that's kind of false. We have that energy, but we only have that energy for the things that light us up. One thing about generators is that there are times where we feel that we have that energy, so we have to do something. Even if we don't want to, we have to. So maybe that could be almost like a con of it. The thing for generators is to really ask ourselves, do I have the energy to do this X, Y, and Z? If you don't do it. If you do, then do it. So, and that's a hard lesson to learn, because so many of us are people pleasers. I know I'm a recovering people pleaser, and it's hard to set those boundaries, but you will notice if you're a generator and you say yes to something you really don't want to do, it's like it takes forever. You don't want to be there. You don't want to do it. Everything is just yuck. It's like trying to walk through quicksand, because your body, your sacral is like, hey, listen, we told you we did not want to do this, but all right. So the best thing to do for generators is, if you don't have the energy, you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah. And I know you said you're a generator, but I'm a generator also. And I know that you know that. But that was like a huge learning lesson for me, because I remember I was working at my full-time job when I found out that generators have this life force energy. And when they're passionate about something, they can work all day if they like truly love what they're doing. And when I was working at Expedia, I was like, that can't be true. I'm like, I have no energy. And granted, I loved my job, great people that I worked with, but it wasn't where I was meant to be, right? Like I wasn't meant to go into an office every day and like pull some data, analyze some data, make some presentations, things like that. And it's so crazy. As soon as I left Expedia and started working for my own business, I was like, oh, this is what that meant. Like when I'm doing things because I should, or doing things because, it's my job and because I'm there and because I have to, I was just drained of energy. And then when I was doing what I want to do with my own business, I'm like, I can work all day, every day, and I absolutely love it. I have to like put boundaries in place to stop working because I love it so much, right? So for me, that was just a couple of quick learning lessons as I dove into being a generator. And now I really know when I'm doing anything, I'm like, I need to check in if this excites me, exactly like you said. Because if this doesn't excite me, I know it's just going to be a long, drawn out process. But it's hard because there's so much conditioning. There's the people pleasing that you said. There's I feel like I should do this. I feel like this is the right thing to do. But part of it is just deconditioning that, right? And being like, I'm just going to go with what my gut tells me, what my heart tells me, what sparks my interest, what sparks my joy, and just chase after that and see wherever it takes me, see what doors open. So yeah, that's a little bit just on my generator journey as you're kind of talking us through these.
So before I go to like a manifesting generator, I want to say for you in particular, you're a 4-1 generator and you have the channel of inspiration. So for you, you are always tapped in to inspiring action. That is that is your energy. Like you need to be doing that. You are an inspiration to people. When you're in that zone, when you're doing what you love to do as a generator, you inspire other people. So you sitting at a desk doing all those boring things, that's not inspiring. Now that you're doing and living your life on your terms, you inspire so many people, Monica. I don't know if you even know the amount of inspiration that you give to other people because you're living the life that you are meant to live. So don't ever go back to a corporate job. No,
Oh my
you
gosh.
you are meant to inspire people.
Yeah.
You truly are, and that is one of your purposes in life. It's a calling for you. And as a 4 line, it's all about networking for you. People are part of your purpose. The 4 line, when it's conscious, they call it the opportunist. I like to call it the networker, right? For you, when you're in the right environment with the right people, you excel. Like the world is your oyster. When you surround yourself with your people, with your fractal, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. And then you add that channel of inspiration. You're going to own like half of Sedona soon. Just remember me. Just remember me.
Oh my gosh, I love it. But see, these are the insights, like when someone does a human design reading with you, they get these types of insights. And for me, it's just so eye opening, right? It's like, oh, okay, now I see how all of this is coming together. And yeah, now that I'm really diving into building a community and building a network, I see that, I feel that. And it's very eye opening. It's also very, it like gives you the confirmation of, okay, I'm doing something right, I'm on the right path, this feels good, this aligns with what I'm doing. So even just hearing you say those couple of things, that is so much of the power of human design. And that's just what a 10-second little segment that you had. So I love it, and thank you for sharing that. That makes me feel good. I'm like, okay.
Oh, girl, I could keep going. I could keep going. But we'll give the other 4 types their time. I don't
Yes.
want to be mean. So the next type is a manifesting generator. Manifesting generators are generators. The difference is that they have a channel that is attached to their throat center. So they have the ability to manifest, hence manifesting generator, because you're in human design. It's not your variables that help you manifest. Your throat center is actually the center of manifestation. So when you're a manifesting generator, you have like quick access to manifesting. Every single profile can manifest. But a manifesting generator has that sacral life force energy, like a regular generator, but then they have access to their throat through a channel, and it's just like they can skip steps. They're called like multitaskers, where a generator has to go step by step by step. A manifesting generator is like, wait a minute, I can do this better. And they're able to skip steps. The one thing I will caution if you're a manifesting generator is not to skip too many steps. They sometimes can get into a zone where they can just skip 2 or 3 or 4 steps, and then all of a sudden they're trying to skip 5 or 6 or 7 and they fall flat on their face. So it's a learning curve with how much you can actually, how quickly you can manifest whatever you're trying to manifest as your manifesting generator. But they are the multitaskers. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I have a really good friend. I mean, you know Anna, right? Yeah, you know Anna Romo. She's a manifesting generator. And when we owned the Chicago Makers pop-up shop together, another example of knowing her type and knowing my type and using that in like partnerships and in friendships and in business relationships. But I love how you say multitasker, because that's what I would say to describe her too, is she would love to have a lot of projects going on at once, and she could handle them and she could do it and she wouldn't drop the ball, and she was just like a ninja at doing 10 different projects at once. While exactly what you said, for me as a generator, I'm like, I like to do one project at a time and really go all in and really be like super thorough and put all my energy into it. But now you can start to see, right, of once you know your type and how you work best, like the manifesting generator, let me know if this is right. They're not probably meant to be pigeonholed into one project. They're meant to be multitaskers, and that's how they thrive, right? So if
Oh,
they're in like a corporate job doing one thing every single day, they're going to probably be miserable. Is that right?
yes. Like if you were in a corporate job and you knew, say, like in the example in me that I'd like to say is like a receptionist that all of a sudden, instead of just like answering the phones and just doing one thing, this receptionist is the one that like not only does her job or his job, but like 5 or 6 other people's, because they just have this energy and they can just do. And it's like no big deal. Like
Yeah.
the rest of us would be exhausted. And they're like, whatever. It's totally cool. I
Just
got
a normal
this.
day. Oh my
It's
gosh.
totally
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And there's just such good insight. So if someone looked up their sign and they're a manifesting generator and they're trying to be super strict and super in a box, and that could be what's draining their energy. And because they're not fulfilling what, in a way that they should, then that just drains you. And then that's that disconnect, that resistance of, okay, something's wrong. And as you dive into human design, you start to get these light bulbs of, oh, like I should be following all my passions. I should be wary, like you said, of not to skip too many steps, but whatever intrigues me, like I should go after it, and I should be multitasking and trying different things. So this is a perfect example of knowing who you are and how it benefits you. So I love it.
yeah. And a key with both manifesting generators is the not self theme. So if you are a manifesting generator or a generator and you're feeling frustrated, that is your not self theme. That is your signpost that you are not living in alignment with where you really truly need to be going. So if you sit back and what you feel is frustration, it's time to take a look at what you're doing and reevaluate and really kind of do something else.
Yeah, I love it. Beautiful.
So are you ready? Are you ready for your husband?
Yes, because I know I totally butchered it. I'm like, what is a projector?
Oh, no,
Yes.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good.
Let's hear it.
So I am partial to projectors. Projectors are about 20% of the population. They are here, they are healers. They are new world leaders. A projector has an aura that is focused and penetrating. They want to help people. They're really, really good at getting right to the heart of a problem and solving it. With projectors, what the hardest thing for a projector to do is to wait for the invitation. And that is their strategy. A lot of projectors feel their not self theme of bitterness when they come into contact with somebody, they know what the problem is and they just straight up tell them, like, let me help you, let me fix you. And this person is unresponsive. They're like, oh no, don't tell me. A projector waits for the recognition, waits for the invitation, and then will shine. And like with your husband, consulting is perfect because his job is literally to wait for recognition, wait for the invitation, and then he can come in and like save the day.
Yeah. And I keep telling him, so he doesn't work in consulting now, but he's like my personal consultant for my business. I'm like, whenever I have a problem, I go to him because he just sees the bird's eye view. He gives such good advice. Like even though he's not in the weeds with me and doesn't know all the details, I just go to him and say, hey, I'm kind of struggling with this. And he'll literally just spit some fire. And I'd be like, gosh, that's such a good point of view. I love what you said about waiting for the invitation. So what happens with a projector if they don't get that invitation, should that, is that mean that if it's in a work relationship and the boss isn't asking for their feedback or for their help or in some other capacity, I don't know if there's another example of that, but does that just mean like literally sit and wait? Does that mean, go after different passions and go after different things and see where the invitation comes to you? What does, like, how would you advise someone in that situation?
So if you're a projector and you are waiting for the invitation and it's something that you're not getting, you can step back and see how you define an invitation. Sometimes an invitation isn't, hey, Monica, I really need your help. An invitation can look like, you know what, Monica, I really, really like felt that last post that you put on Instagram. Like that really spoke to me. That's an invitation. That is recognizing. I'm recognizing you and I'm inviting you into my life. Tell me more about it. If it doesn't feel like an invitation, if it feels like you're being ignored, if it just doesn't feel right, and you'll know, projectors are so good at really knowing, walk away. Sometimes that's hard. Again, like that whole people pleasing thing with generators. But at this point in time, it's not meant for your wisdom to be heard by that person. When they're ready, they will come to you. You just have to go about doing what you do, be recognized, and then the right people will ask you for your brilliance and then you can give it to them.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm also trying to think through like how would this work for someone who owns a product business if they're a projector? So I think we've talked about generators. So if someone owns a product business and they're a generator, it's like go after what lights you up, right? And kind of go full steam ahead. I think for a manifesting generator, if you own a product business, it probably means multitask and do all of the things that are really exciting to you. And that's how you're going to reach success. What tips for someone who owns a product business, if they're a projector, would you give them to help them utilize this information for them to be successful too?
Immediately, I think of showing your product online, speaking about the benefits of your product and what it means to you. Like, this is an amazing product. This is what it does. I would love to talk more. And that for a generator is like, wait to respond. I see that from a projector. I'm like, oh, that is really pretty. I would absolutely love to talk to her. And then that invitation comes from me responding to what they're putting out. So it's all about the benefit and always speak from your heart. Like I tell that to everybody. People can feel the energy when you're being fake. Like I'm a really bad liar because I can't do it. I cannot do it. So I just speak from my heart. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, that's cool too. But speak from your heart, truly tell people why whatever you're making, what it means to you and how it can benefit other people. That invitation will be received by the right people.
I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful advice. Okay, let's go to the fourth one.
Okay. So we will go to manifestors next. Manifestors, they have they have like a very repelling aura. Now that sounds really bad, but manifestors are literally here to initiate all of us. Their strategy is to inform and initiate. Think of them as like the boss, the royalty, the people that get things started. They're the CEOs. They are, listen, this is what I'm doing. You can get on this train or, deuces. I'm out. They have this, and they have this je ne sais quoi about them. Like I can always tell a manifestor because they have this aura about them. And man, when they're like in their zone, you can't tell them anything, and they're really, really good at what they do. They have a repelling aura because they can't really be involved in the auras of other types because they're literally here to initiate. They are the bosses, and that is their job. If they get sucked in to everybody else's auras, like they can't do their job. So sometimes they might be a little bit standoffish, but it's because that is their job. Their job is to inform you of what they're going to do and initiate something new. And that is what they get to do.
Yeah, I love it. And I think of maybe a product business owner who's a manifester. Maybe that's like partnering with some sort of charity that you're super, super involved in or super passionate about, because that's essentially initiating change, right? Is selling your products, but you're initiating change by like partnering with a charity, or maybe it's like a super unique product that people don't have right now or don't use in that way, or maybe it's just being really vocal about it in a different way of how to attract a different audience, pitching something differently. Is there anything else that you would maybe say for a manifestor who owns a product business? Like what would their expertise or skill be in that regard?
So one of my favorite manifestors, she owns Gigawatt Coffee Company. I also love their coffee. Watch how she interacts on social media. It's not, hey guys, this is what I have. This is going to be really great. That would be good for somebody else. She's like, listen, this is where we're at. You're going to come and get my coffee. It's going to be amazing. And people are like, yes, yes, I am. I mean, the way that she moves through social media, it's not asking you, it is telling you, but like in a respectful way. Like, I don't want you to be an asshole, but which the confidence that she exudes when she says, hey, we're going to be at this fair, we're going to be here, we're going to be here, come out. Again, that's amazing for us, for generators, because we're responding to that. The projectors are like, oh, it's an invitation. So that is what the manifestors do for us. They tell us what they're going to do, and we have the option to follow.
Oh, I love it. Super interesting. So it's as simple as like being bold and
Oh, yeah.
just being, that authentic, bold version of you that's showing up without caring what people think and just telling people as it
Mhm.
is. And then you attract the people to you. I love it. Such a good example.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, let's go
Okay.
to the last but not least type.
The last type are reflectors. We know a reflector. They are only 1% of the population. What makes a reflector is that they have no centers that are defined. So when you look at the body graph, they're all completely white and they have a bunch of little lines that only go halfway. A reflector is ruled by the moon. They are here to sit back, watch the world, and then come in and give their opinion and show and tell us what needs to be done better, what can be done better, what needs to stop. A reflector is ruled by the moon, so they're always in and out of different cycles energetically. And that's really important for them because they literally can absorb all of the energy in a room and of the people around them because they have nothing defined. They have no definite moving energy within them. So for a reflector, they want to be very, very picky. And I'm using that on purpose, picky about the people and the environment that they surround themselves with. They're very, very sensitive. If you're around like not so nice people, it affects them more than it would affect anybody else. Their energy is all about what they surround themselves with. So for reflectors, it's all about surrounding themselves with what they want to bring into their life. Like vision boards I feel like vision boards are an absolute like reflector thing. Like, oh, okay, that's what I want. Like they have that beautiful energy. They are so much more powerful than they realize. And there's only like 1% of people are like that, but they're also really intuitive. Like they can walk into a room and read the energy like really good because that's their job. They literally flow with the energy of the moon every day. So they're really powerful in that way.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, reflectors are one that's I'm not super familiar with. Like you said, it's only 1%. So a lot of times when you're doing research on human design or learning about it, well, obviously you kind of focus on your own design and the people around you. But reflectors is one that I'm not super familiar with. So I love hearing that. How would you say, like, what advice would you give to a product business owner who's a reflector? Is it find your tribe and make sure it's the right people and get your support? Is it, I know you said moon cycles, is it waiting to make any big decisions until a moon cycle has passed, giving yourself time? What advice would you give in that situation?
So for reflectors, their strategy is to wait a cycle, wait 30 days to make any big decisions. If you are a business owner and you're a reflector, I would suggest journaling and actually keeping track of the transits because you're going to feel that energy more than anybody else. And when you journal out how you feel, you know kind of how you can do things and what's the best energy for you. It is for reflectors, it is literally all about your environment. Declutter, smudge, hang around and surround yourself with the people that you want to be. Expanders. You know, like if you always hang out with people that are really negative, it's as a reflector, it hits you harder because you're literally in that energy all the time. When you surround yourself with people that are more positive, that support you, your energy, you're going to feed that energy and you're going to just expand in ways that you would have never even imagined. Environment so important for a reflector.
Yeah, I love it. Such good
Mm-hmm.
feedback. So good. There is so many good pieces of information here, and I hope that people listening just number one looked up their sign, or is it a type? Is it a sign? What do you call it?
It's a type in a
Okay,
profile.
profile.
I,
Yeah, I'm like,
this is no, this is your
I
podcast.
don't
You
know
follow
I didn't know the
us.
specifics. I hope the person listening looked up their profile and is paying close attention to all five of the types because you can learn so much about other people, about yourself. And I love how we related this to business and how people can really see where there's resistance or where their attention is going or how their energy is to just become even better business owner and also use this in their personal life too. So I love it. And I know you said, I mean, obviously there's so many different directions that human design can go. Before we kind of wrap up and share where people can get in contact with you and all that fun stuff, any other last minute things that you want to mention about human design? Any feedback for the person listening about how they can best use this? Anything? I'll leave the floor open to you on what you want to share.
Be patient with yourself. Like I had said before, the first time that I opened up a human design book, it like was repelling. I was not open to it. Human design can go incredibly deep. It is not a race. It is all about understanding who you are. You don't have to know it all in one day. You just don't. Be patient with yourself. Take what resonates and you can leave what doesn't at this time. Always come back. Just have patience and know that when you are called to human design, it is your time.
Beautiful. I love it, Maureen. You are such a light. You have so much knowledge. I can just tell how passionate you are on this. And I know, like I mentioned earlier, I've done one of your Gene Key readings and learned so much. And I've gone back to it a couple times. And every time I read it, I'm like, ooh, I get what that meant. Or, ooh, I see how that kind of panned out. So you are just an expert in human design, Gene Keys, astrology, all of the things that we've mentioned, some in detail today, some just briefly. But I know the person listening is going to be so interested in more of your information, more of your knowledge. So share with us, where can people follow you and get to know you? And also, what do you offer in terms of learning more about this and supporting people as they dive into it?
Well, my favorite place on the interwebs is Instagram, and it's at I am Maureen Webb. I also have Facebook, not on there as much. I have a website, Maureen slash or dash
Dash, I think.
dash. Okay, Maureen dash web.com.
I'll make sure to link it in the show notes so people
Oh my
can
god!
find it.
Oh my god! This is real life. Like I'm so bad with technology. I'm like I don't know. Um, I if you go on my website, I offer astrology readings, gene key readings, human design readings. My favorite reading is what I call the key. And I take your astrology, your human design, and your life's work, which is also your brand, that gene key, and I combine them into one like almost 40-page report for you. And then we get on a Zoom call and I talk to you for 2 hours about all the things. And I mix them together and I link them up together and I show you receipts about how amazing you are. That's my favorite because when I feel like when people can see the thread that goes between all three, it really just turns on a light bulb for people. And to be able to do that and to show people how truly powerful they are, like I said, like the best thing in the world for me. Just mwah, chef's kiss. That's what I love to do.
Oh my
So
gosh. It's amazing. And I know a lot of members of Product Based Academy have gone through and done some of those readings with you. And all of them, including myself, when I've done it with you, have said such good things about the insights that you share and the revelations and the aha moments and the mind blown moments and how everything just makes sense. So I encourage the person listening, if you're like struggling with anything, if you're just working through something, if your energy doesn't feel super expansive or you feel like something isn't right, like something, right? Like take the time to work with Maureen and learn about yourself and you're going to be enlightened. You're going to have an amazing mentor in Maureen and she shares some awesome gems on Instagram too. So I'll make sure to link all of that in the show notes so people can find you. But thank you so much, Maureen. I just want to express my gratitude for having you on here, for educating us on human design, sharing your insights. And it's been such a pleasure chatting with you today.
oh my god, the pleasure has been all mine, Monica. This makes my heart so full. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to spread the love.
Of course. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Maureen. And thank you for listening to the Product Biz podcast. I will see you on next week's episode and we will talk then.